Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker, taking on Kelvin Gastelum. This is at middleweight. Robert Whittaker is currently the number 1 ranked middleweight. Kelvin Gastelum currently ranked number 8. Gastelum comes into this fight 3-4 in his last 7. He's coming off that decision win over Heinisch. He looked good in that one. He's a former Ultimate Fighter winner. He's got excellent boxing, high-level wrestling, averages about a takedown a fight, a little bit over. Definitely, that though is definitely an average. He prefers to strike despite his pretty solid wrestling pedigree. And overall, he's a very good fighter, but like some of the fighters we've mentioned in our other breakdowns tonight, he can be rather inconsistent, and he's an absolute liability to bet on. The one fight he gives Adesanya his hardest match, or arguably one of his hardest matches, and then 2 fights later, he gets submitted by Hermansson in like a couple minutes.
Less than a minute, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, and he just didn't look good in that fight. In contrast, though, Bobby Knuckles is one of the most consistent fighters on the roster as far as winning fights and just performing at a high level over and over again. He's the former middleweight champ. He's 11-1 in his last 12. That one loss was to Adesanya. He's now won 2 straight. He's sharp. He's technical on the feet. He's going to have a slight reach advantage here, 2 inches. I think he's a superior and more skilled striker. I think he has some underrated wrestling, while maybe Gastelum is better. Whittaker is a national wrestling champ over in Australia. He's got a pretty good takedown defense rate, 84%. And I see him being able to keep the fight on the feet. And I think on the feet, he is, as I said, the more technical fighter. And I think he's got the advantage. So I'm going with Whittaker here. I don't know that it'll be like a crazy exciting fight. I just see him looking good for 5 rounds. Picking them apart, win a decision. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good fight, right? Kelvin, like you said, you gave all the stats and attributes of both these guys, and you broke it down very nicely. If you look at, coming into this fight, you say, who's got the most impressive resume as far as fighters faced? You would say Robert Whittaker,
oh, yeah.
But it's definitely Kelvin Gastelum.
Is it?
Oh, 100%. You don't even, you forget the killers that this guy's been fighting. Uriah Hall, Jake Ellenberger, Tyron Woodley, Nate Marquardt, Neil Magny, Johnny Hendricks, Tim Kennedy, Vitor Belfort, Chris Weidman, Michael Bisping, Jacare, Izzy, Darren Till, Jack Hermansson.
And a lot of those guys that you mentioned, I think maybe now, that's not that great. He was fighting them in their prime. Jake Ellenberger, guys like that.
Yeah, Tim Kennedy, all these guys, exactly.
Killers in their prime.
Vitor Belfort. Mm-hmm. So, my goodness, he's
seen it all.
He has seen it all. Been in there with absolute killers. He had that nice bounce back win just a couple of months ago against Heinisch. But Robert Whittaker, obviously a very impressive resume himself, was the former champion. He just does everything so well, so technically sound.
Romero twice.
Kelvin,
yeah, one was maybe,
Kelvin Gastelum definitely will be in this fight and has a shot to win. He's extremely talented. I still think that, regardless of the resume. But Robert Whittaker, the way he fought against Darren Till and then Jared Cannonier, he's still at the very tip top of his game. Mm-hmm. And I expect him fully on this full training camp, because, Kelvin did have time to whip himself into shape and get ready after just being in there a couple months ago. But Robert Whittaker had a full camp knowing that he was supposed to face Costa and now Kelvin Gastelum. So he'll be prepared himself. I just think that at this point, the levels are a little bit different with Whittaker being, just a class above Kelvin.
Yeah.
It should be a great fight. Kelvin's always going to be dangerous, but I think Robert Whittaker, especially how he looked in those last 2 decisions against very tough and dangerous strikers in Darren Till and Cannonier, he definitely has what it takes to get the victory here. I think it should be a pretty clear-cut decision victory for Whittaker. But Kelvin, always dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kelvin has the ability
to win. He has the ability to beat anybody.
Yeah.
He proved that with that not victory, but that fight against Izzy.
Fight with Izzy.
He can beat anybody on any given day, but I think right now Robert Whittaker still wants that title back, and I think he's at the top of his game, and he seems healthy and refocused, mm-hmm. and I think that he's going to win this decision.
Yeah.